We like to build up all the anticipation.
Wait for it.
Let's say hypothetically that I don't know anything about fly fishing.
Yeah, right?
It was like this instant 8-way man crush.
I'm on the fence.
The time we've been doing this podcast, I've never seen Uncle Buck perk up his dolphin procreation. Like you just flipped up out of your chair.
Yeah, he just blew out his blowhole.
What are you talking about?
And that's pretty much my dream coming true is to actually meet you guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm the humblest guy I know.
Humble. Work and do trade shows in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You meet some pretty wild guys.
You blew it! I'm the worst PR person ever. Fire me.
You're back in the current again with Rutten River Pursuits. Welcome, guys. This is Uncle Buck.
This is Kyle.
This is Dave.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Will.
Hi, Will.
What's up, bub?
Hello, Will.
Hey,
Hi.
guys.
Bubby. Man, guys, I just feel like I dried off from the last time I was in the current, and we're right back in it again.
Yeah, you got caught up in it, Eddie.
Yeah.
I did. I
Got tossed around a good bit.
Oh, man.
Did you capsize?
I might have. I didn't have my paddles down or
That
something.
wounded knee was very treacherous.
Yeah, it is.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, you've been there, huh, Kyle?
Oh, I've been there.
And, guys, this episode will come out next Wednesday, but we're going to be 4 days past the big day.
The big day.
The pre-big day.
The Southeast
opener.
Trout opener.
Amen, brother.
It's
a
like
big
Christmas for some people.
Amen.
But you can't open presents till 8 a.m.
What? I wouldn't really call it Christmas because it's pretty crowded and it's not that fun.
It's just like the mall.
It's not crowded at Christmas time.
Well, not underneath my Christmas tree. It's just me and a couple other people.
Gotcha.
We've got
Tiny Tim over here. Jeez.
Tiny Kyle.
I thought he was tall, Kyle.
Yeah.
We're not sure. We're looking into it.
But anyway, fellas,
TK.
we have the first opener of trout in Pennsylvania this weekend, and then another 3 weeks away?
2
weeks
from Turkey.
Oh, yeah. 3 weeks from Turkey.
3 weeks from Turkey. Yeah. We're trying to talk about hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
Plus today is the
opening season of baseball.
baseball.
Oh,
Wow, man.
Plus,
I'm really
if you factor
confused.
in the leap year.
All right. So,
It's okay. The Orioles won, so it was a good opening day.
in summary, folks, after all that tomfoolery,
Bring it all back, Bucky.
we're going to bring it back. We have trout opening up this weekend, and turkey's coming up in 3 weeks. And I want to know this week, what are you guys doing to get ready for that? Like, have you already made purchases? Have you made purchases and still need to get one, or you still need to make purchases in general? And I want to know all about it, guys. What are we doing this week?
Oh, man. It's a lot of pressure.
Well, I was going through my stuff.
Go ahead and start, DK.
Start
us
Go ahead, Dave.
I have
Just
a
jump
buddy
right to it.
that's
Kick
never-
her off, bud.
I have a buddy who's never really fished for trout before.
What's her name?
Dave.
My buddy's name is Jordan. Okay?
Gotcha.
So, and he's new to the area of where I live. He was from Lancaster, moved to York area.
What's up, J-Bone?
Yeah, and
Did he get
He's
invited?
a listener. So he was asking me.
Has he been on the pontoon?
No, he has not.
Okay.
But but he was asking me about trout fishing, and
Us
he knows
too, J-Bone.
he knows I fish. So I pretty much set him up a whole rig. What he needs to fish for Saturday morning.
What's in it?
I was just going to say, did you give him the Stevie special?
It is not that good. That is
not that elaborate.
2 ounce weights and 20-pound mono.
Yeah.
That's a
So, just a simple ultralight rod, about 5 foot, and a smaller reel with 6 pound test. So
Cool.
that's the rod and reel. A vest, some split shot.
Stevie, is 6 pounds too heavy?
It's hard to tie on 4.
Come on, bud.
It's hard to make knots
Don't
on
yell
4
at
pound.
us.
What? He's not 3.
I'm just saying.
Is your buddy 3?
No.
Depends where you're fishing.
I see what DK did there. He gave his buddy the 6 pound test. Meanwhile, DK's over there throwing 4 pound test.
4 pound vanish.
2, yeah.
So
But I don't know what's your problem
Yeah, I don't know why you're not catching them, bud.
But
Totally
some,
deked them.
Some hooks, some 10s and 12s.
You must not be setting the
split
hook
shots.
right.
I told him canned sweet corn, red wigglers, and some power bait. Also some rooster tails and some Castmasters. I gave him a little pack of Castmasters and some rooster tails.
That's pretty
Hold on.
altruistic.
Wait,
of
hold
you.
on.
You mean you didn't tell him about the broom handles?
That's for the broom handles.
For the blues.
For the blues.
Oh,
Yeah.
different kind of species. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll have to make some broom handle jigs here. But yeah, so I set him all up. He's good to go. He was actually asking about some bass fishing stuff, and he texted me tonight. He caught a nice largemouth in a farm pond near where his house is. So when we were looking through some of his bass fishing gear that his brother let him borrow, I found there's some tubes there, of course, pumpkin seed tubes. And I was like,
No kidding.
tie this on.
That's like David. That's like
Yeah.
Deke bread and butter.
Bounce it across the bottom of the pond, and you'll have a pretty good chance of hooking up with something. And he texted me tonight, and there's a picture of a nice size bass he caught out of a farm
Congrats,
pond.
Jordan.
So, yeah,
Using the Deke rig.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
Deked them.
So you fish streams on opening day, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Nothing-
you might be okay with 6 pound there, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty murky.
You're looking down at that, huh?
No, it just in clear lakes, I've never had any luck with anything heavier than 4.
Okay.
But-
I just had sometimes on the colder mornings, the 4 did not want to tie a knot.
Yeah.
I was having trouble with knot strength for me. It could have been a bad batch of mono, too.
Could be.
I use 4 pound for ice fishing.
Yeah, this year was the first year I even played around with 2 pound tests because Stevie suggested it for ice fishing, and I was real worried about being able to tie any knots for that, but it worked out.
What?
Bucky, you use 4 pound for hybrid stripers out of Lake Mead.
I try to, but I get my heart broken a lot.
Jeez.
Now, I'm a big fan of lighter weight line, and
Absolutely.
I think just because you're saying it's a 2 pound test, it doesn't necessarily mean heartbreaker. Yeah, if you're getting to get around brush or structure, yeah.
You got to set your drag. You
But
can't horse
You
them.
can't horse them. I mean, it's just like using ultralight. You can't use your tackle. You've got to be patient.
Can't cast into those log jams.
No.
But you're asking about my setup personally for Saturday?
Personally, what's your setup
It's
for
going to be
Saturday?
a 7.5 foot 4-weight fly rod.
Really?
Yes.
4-weight.
4-weight.
Holy buckets.
So but like Hank Patterson said when he was on, I'm actually bait fishing.
Are you?
I'm not using true flies. So I'll throw corn on a bear hook with
What's a bear hook?
What's a bear hook?
on a bait hook. And with a split shot 1.5 feet above, and I'll drift it through.
Now, hold on.
Is that a grizzly or black or brown?
You skiing grizz?
Are you using like a tapered leader, like a fly fishing leader?
Yeah, there's still a leader on it, but then there's
Do you tie tippet on the end of that?
No, I use 4 pound. 4
Oh, 4
So
pound,
you use
not
4
6.
pound fluorocarbon.
Yes.
And then, but you set up J Dog with 6 pound
with
on it.
2 arm
The
width.
truth
length.
comes out.
Yeah.
Don't give away all your
We're
secrets.
sorry,
DK.
J-Dog, but you got
No.
deked.
But
Are you sure he's your friend?
it's what was set up on that reel.
It's cool, bud. We're just messing
yeah.
with you. Just
Yeah.
tie the little.
He's got
leader
time to
on
fix that.
He'll be good. He'll have fun.
J-Dog,
Definitely.
bring your 4 pound test with you.
Listen to this podcast and then salvage the rest of your week.
It's stock trout. They'll
It's
hit a
only-
bear hook.
It's only one day. They'll hit a bear hook.
A 4-weight fly rod. That ought to be fun.
Yeah. I
That's
think
cool.
it's either a 3 or a 4. I forget what it is. It's a real light fly rod.
Man, I bet that's a lot of fun catching
though. It is.
trout on that.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing, Kyle?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, got the gear stacked up, so made sure I had plenty of power bait and my go-to
Powered
trout.
bait.
What's your favorite color?
I was just going to ask you.
I like the white with a little bit of sparkle.
Great.
Sparkly white.
Is it scented anything?
I go back and forth between the scents. Sometimes I like to throw a little bit of the garlic scent, and other times I like to just throw the plain power bait.
I bought some of the garlic tonight.
It's
You're not going
Like
to
that pale green one?
yeah. Well, they make the garlic scent in all the different colors.
Shut your mouth.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Man.
It helps when you know a guy.
I guess, too, it does.
But yeah, got the power
I
bait
know girls too.
all stacked up, and had to make sure I'm all filled up on the trout magnets. And actually, they shared a pretty interesting video on throwing trout
Who,
magnets.
Leland Lures did.
Oh yeah,
Did they?
Which I'm gonna try it on this Saturday. If I'm not having any luck on the regular trout magnet, they were saying how it could be a little too intimidating for them, especially if they've seen a lot of different actions. So what you do is you kind of bite it in half, so it has a smaller appearance.
Yeah. Like bite the tails off.
Yeah, and
Really?
then if that doesn't work, they're saying that you can actually like have that smaller one and then tie on a bigger one like a foot up to kind of give it
A little tandem rig.
the tandem rig. It was actually like one of their recent videos that they just shared. I was like, I never even thought about kind of shrinking it down a little bit, but it makes perfect sense.
They make a mini magnet, which is really, really tiny.
I might have to get me some of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean,
He thinks of everything.
They do. They do.
geniuses. So I got the gear stacked up. Rod's got new line on it, 4-pound test, unlike that 6-pound that Dave's throwing over there. But she's ready to go. I'm actually throwing. I'm a bigger man, so I like to have a little bit bigger rod. So I actually throw it to 6-foot ultralight action rod, which a lot of the other people, especially on the smaller streams of PA, they're throwing like a 5.5 foot ultralight. But I actually like the length because it gives you a little bit more extra casting distance too. So.
Not that you need it on the first day, though, right?
Well, you know, if a guy across the creek's in my way, I want to be able to let him know I mean business.
What, bounce a 1 ounce weight off his head
If I have to.
using a T. Allen rod?
Hey.
Like Larry Dahlberg said, if I can hit you with my bait, I have every right to do so.
Exactly. I go out more for the tradition than the.
Yeah.
You don't really go out for the peace and quiet because you're not going to find a hole on the stream without at least 2 other dudes fishing it.
Yeah.
So,
At least.
Yeah. But yeah, now the gear's ready. I'm excited just to get out and kind of. I always viewed trout as kind of the season kickoff for the soft water fishing. Kind of goes from trout and then the early season bass spawn and then kicks right over into smallmouth and catfishing season. So it's kind of like the go marker. So
I'm sorry, but I'm not even thinking trout right now.
What are you thinking?
what's
Big
going
Cat?
on, Bucky?
What's at top of mind at downtown Buckmanville?
I'm thinking about turkeys.
Really? That was pretty good, bud.
Yeah. I'm thinking about turkeys, and I'm actually thinking about bucks more than I am turkeys.
Really?
What?
Well, Will and I got back out this weekend. I got back out in the woods and where we hunted all fall, and after seeing the 2 turkeys while I was buck hunting last year, seeing some game cam photos, I think we might kill a turkey off this property this year. I'm going to make that call. One of us 3 guys that regularly hunt that property is going to take a beard off of it.
How much land is it?
What, about 60 acres?
I don't.
That's tough.
I'm not going to make a bet on that. But they're there, man. Like I know last year we had about 5 birds all around us, and to get on one or whatever was. And it's our first time up in the property last year, so I wasn't going to go try and get on a bird outside of that property. So I think the biggest thing was to get them onto that property when they weren't. No, you got as good a chance of any, though. I mean, they're there. So,
Are there things you can do to help make the habitat more turkey friendly?
That's like a capital project, to kind of have the. I don't even know if you're
You
planning.
almost need like a true open space food plot.
Yeah.
That they'll be able to come to
and dust and do all the things that they do, and they care about different trees and different things like that. I'm not one to know all that. We got some people that we should be getting on here in the next couple of weeks to talk about turkeys. But
that'd be interesting.
But the bottom line is it's big woods, and they're there. There's no question about it. We got a handful of trail cam pictures of.
I saw some of those on the at Will
big
Miser
birds.
And I guess
Instagram.
the day after fall turkey season got out, boys, I watched those two dance. Those two beards.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it
That
was
was
the
the day after.
and those two long beards just fed and fed and fed for.
Do you think they were just mocking you?
Oh,
yeah.
They were definitely
Pointing and laughing.
scraping and saying, "I see you there, Uncle Buck.
I
see you there.
I see you there, buddy. You can't move because you think you might scare that deer just right over there, and you can't shoot me one bit. Just
I saw 3 toms
jackhammers.
yesterday in the middle of a cut cornfield. They're just walking around, just all happy.
It's getting close. My brother texted me last night. He was up at our cabin. He said he saw a big tom and 3 jakes grouped up with some hens, but he said the tom was already puffed up, strutting.
That's funny you say that, but Will just sent out a pic from our game cam up there, and it was literally the tom was strutting for the camera. I mean, we didn't have a picture of any hen, so did he put on?
It was for you, but
yeah, teasing me again. Hey, you remember me?
He was flexing.
So what are you doing, Bucky, to get ready for turkey season? Because we're still, it's what, 3 weeks?
We're about a month.
About a month out.
4 weeks.
I'm starting to get out, just to get out and look. Mm-hmm. We've had some crazy weather. I probably would have been out last week or this week trying to listen a little bit, but I'm waiting for the weather to change a little bit more and just go out and spend an evening in the woods.
Can you get out too much? I mean, you don't want to be rolling through there a couple times a day, right?
Well, from what I've been told, it's okay to go out and look. You just don't talk to them. You don't call and educate them about you and what's going to happen here soon. If you go out and be quiet and look for sign that's acceptable. You want to look for scrapes. You can listen for them as well, but you just don't talk back to them right now. That's what I've gathered. I'm preparing now. I picked up a.
In the grand scheme of things, we're not. You're talking to two.
I'm just a beginner. I'm a low-level Padawan learner here.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
and I'm making a little bit of investment.
It's funny. I've noticed, there's probably 1 or 2 flocks of turkeys around my house, but I never really realized this. I feel like turkey are a lot like deer in the sense they move their location. They don't just, they're not patternable in the sense they're going to roost in the same tree every night. Cause the turkeys at my house, it's I'll see them a couple days straight and then poof, gone.
Really?
And then
they pack up and move.
And then, but they'll be back, another couple days, couple weeks, boom, they're back in there and then poof, gone. So it's kind of weird how they're patternable, but yet they have to be there for you to pattern them.
Yeah, we go weeks without a turkey passing by our trail cams. Just I have no clue. It's always cool when we see them. It's like a bear or something like that. You just happen to.
I would think they pretty much eat up anything the insect population for that area and keep moving on. Kind of rotate the area. They don't want to, completely decimate.
Over-harvest?
Yeah, over-harvest that area.
They eat ticks?
I think they eat about anything that they think
love me some
is
turkeys.
food on the ground.
Yeah.
I hate
just
ticks.
like a chicken.
Big fans of beech nuts too, from what I've read.
Big fan of what?
Beach nuts.
Beach nut chew.
I was just gonna say Red Man, Beach Man,
Oh man.
Beach man.
Beach Man.
What?
What?
Beach nuts.
Yeah, beech trees.
Oh,
The American beech tree.
gotcha.
Smooth, light gray bark,
I'm with you now, bud.
like kind of round diamond shaped leaf.
It's those antibiotics I'm on.
Oh,
Usually-
Stevie, are you feeling better? Speaking
I'm
of
feeling awesome.
You
now.
sound so much better.
Holy cats, that was a rough week.
that, we had to send you home early last week. didn't
Yeah,
we?
I felt bad.
You got old Neil Orange Peel all worried.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
Did
ain't
he?
Yeah.
I didn't even think that was you on the podcast. I thought for sure they had a sub.
No, that was 100% me.
But it looked like you were good enough to take the kids out for mentored youth trout season.
Yeah. Oh my goodness,
It's amazing how mentored youth trout season can cure the common cold.
Yeah. So I had it in my chest last week, and then over the weekend it
dropped through your
migrated.
drawers?
It migrated no, the other direction. It migrated to my head, and so now I got a sinus thing going on, but I can at least talk. So my three kids, 3, 5, and 7, we decided it would be an awesome idea to go to Mentored Youth Day on last Saturday for trout. And I don't know. I always have I set up these expectations in my mind, how I think, we're going to go, the kids are going to line up single file nice and neatly. I'm going to hand them the rod. It's going to go straight out. All three of them are going to catch fish after fish after fish. And, they're going to be hoisting me above their shoulder, giving me Dad of the Year award on the way out. No, it's nothing like that. They're casting into trees. The lake we went to is real. Well, first of all, there was a lot of snow on the ground still, so it was muddy and slippery and sloppy. And the lake that we fished at,
Sneezy.
I'm not
Cranky.
kidding.
Oh,
The lake drops from
Dopey.
nothing to 30 feet within 5 yards from the bank, and it's a steep drop down to the water too. So I'm a little worried that my daughter's getting close to anyways. I almost fall in at least once, and we didn't catch anything, but I tell myself my kids had fun. I keep repeating that.
The picture of your kids look like they had a blast, and it'll be a day they remember. So you're definitely catching memories.
What's funny is we had my oldest, we were forcing him to smile, like Jacob, smile, smile, So he did, but we were there, and you gotta start them at some point. And I don't say that to discourage anyone from getting your kids out there, because they did have fun. But, for someone like me that can fish for 3 or 4 hours and not catch anything, which is, a typical Saturday for me. Thursday evening is a lot different than a 5-year-old that has the attention span of a 5-year-old.
Gotcha.
So
are you going to be able to get out for the opener?
No.
Oh, bud.
No, I'm not fishing the opener. We're doing some traveling for the holiday, but I am going to get down to the bay and do some more striper fishing. So
This weekend?
Maybe Monday.
Huh.
Maybe Monday. Yeah. So that's the plan. But I sometimes fish the opener. Sometimes I don't. I don't know. I don't particularly like fishing the opener unless I can be in a boat, just because there's too many people. And even then, it's just. But all next week I will. So after the opener, and everybody gets their freezers full, we'll go back, clean up, and see if there's anything left.
I mean, there's a lot of good in our area. Well, the area I live in, anyways, like Southern York County. There's a lot of good clubs. The state also restocks, but there's a lot of good local clubs that keep restocking. So, there's some good action to still be had on stock trout throughout April.
Yeah.
So you're not going to miss any. There's going to be more opportunities.
Yeah, that lake we fish at a lot. They stock twice in April and once in May. So we have, plenty of time. Actually, 3 times, over the next 4 weeks or something like that. So we'll be good.
Yeah.
Just not the first day.
How, like, the lake that we ice fished at
Laurel Lake, yeah.
is that's not the lake you were at, right?
No, well, I was the lake up the road from there.
Okay, but Laurel, they restock that.
They stock that 4 times a year.
Okay,
so they've already stocked that. They stocked that prior to Youth Day. They'll stock it once more in April, once I think in May, and then they stock it in November for ice fishing.
so those trout that we caught during ice fishing were actually stocked in November.
They were stocked in November, yeah. And then I was there in February, and there were still trout there. I caught some trout in February there, so they were, I guess holdover trout.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be. I'm more excited about striper fishing than I am trout fishing
Trout
this year.
beware.
Yeah, but we'll get there. You getting out, W?
I am so like, you got the Easter bearing down on us.
They should have rescheduled opening
The
day of
opening.
trout.
My
Yeah.
favorite opening day of trout is always the same weekend as Easter.
Why?
Because I get my own sunrise service on Sunday. The streams are not that crowded compared to other opening weekends.
I don't know.
Pretty selfish of you, DK.
Yeah. Thanks for wishing that on us.
Yeah, sorry guys, but luckily I still get permission to go.
I don't know if you can petition anyone at the Fish and Game Commission or Fish and Boat Commission to change that.
I think
but
no matter
I didn't
I
even
think
want to
you'd
get
have
into that
to.
because they're trying to raise our rates now. Did you hear that?
I heard that didn't go through.
Well, that's still the want, though, boys. And
That'll always be the one.
are
know,
you willing?
I'm still gonna. They could double
I'm
it.
still
and I'm
gonna
still
buy the
gonna buy the
whole
license.
debate. Do we
you
want
know?
to continue doing this just to have our trout stocked?
Oh, it's more than just a trout.
Yeah, because it's not it's the trout stamp is going up, but also the license is going to go up.
Yeah, so they can afford to keep on raising trout to throw into lakes that I don't fish.
They're,
But that's
they're,
the trout stamp, which you don't
And
need to
the
get.
license goes
But
to
the
that
trout
program.
stamp goes to that program.
I don't know that a couple dollars is gonna. The last I heard, it was $6 or something like that. I don't know that $6 is gonna keep someone who is on the fence about fishing to not fish. I'm not saying I want to give the government open
man.
access to my to my checkbook
To
every
your
year,
wallet.
to my wallet, but they could triple the license, and everybody sitting around this table is still going to buy it, just to fish. But that's that's us. I get it. I'm not asking them to. I'm not suggesting that, but to some respects, it's
That's why
a moot point, and
that's where I'm happy that they at least let me now buy my license up to 5 years out in advance
Yeah.
as well, because you can get a discount if you invest now and they
if they raise
raise
it, you can get a discount.
You can get a discount. So I mean, that is an advantage. The point I was trying to make though was they keep on raising the rates, and it's just like with the pheasant in this state.
Yeah.
And how long are people going to pay for you to stock wildlife that really isn't wildlife anymore in the state?
Think about think about opening day. It's a tradition. There's a lot of kids. My first memories I have fishing are opening day of trout season.
It's a gateway drug.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same.
Should we stock deer though? I mean, are we going to get to that point, guys?
I don't think insurance companies will allow that.
But we stock pheasant, we stock trout. What's to stop?
I don't know.
Well, technically, we stock turkeys, and technically,
Or is that
Some
NWTF and we're relocating and not stocking?
Technically, we stock stripers.
and technically,
Walleye.
Muskie.
in some areas of this country, they relocated deer so that they would have. So they essentially stocked it. I mean, like the whole.
Yeah, the elk are stocked.
Yeah, I mean, like if you get real nitty gritty about it, if just because you're replacing now pheasants is completely not a U.S. animal. It's not a species that is
Chinese.
naturally. It's a Chinese species. So if you're going to go that route, pheasants are a little different compared to like whitetail were on the map for this area. Turkeys were not in all 50 states, and they pretty much are now. Maybe not Hawaii. Don't hold me to that.
There's turkeys in Hawaii.
Yeah, but like the NWTF has gotten them into states that they never existed. So
And that's why I said this is a whole topic and subject for another time, and I think we should come back to this. This is something
one thing they did right, I think, was if you don't want to hunt pheasants, don't buy the tag. If you don't want to fish for trout, don't buy the trout stamp. And so you're not paying for that, that extra.
But the difference is,
benefit.
Stevie, is I can go hunting and make a solid choice not to shoot a pheasant.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go fishing and make a choice not to put a trout on the end of my hook.
Throw a whopper plopper.
Maybe.
But
what if I want to throw a minnow for crappie or for a yellow perch?
You can throw it back. You can release it.
Yeah, it's technically a harvest stamp.
Yeah.
And there's no, you're not allowed to keep certain sharks on the coast, but you're shark fishing. There's no way to.
So is my federal bird stamp a harvest stamp?
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to shoot a goose and then release it.
So technically, I could shoot at one as long as I don't hit one, and then that's where I'm getting. Uncle Buck is going a little bit.
I don't know why you're playing that kind of devil's advocate. If you're pointing a gun at something, you better know what you're pointing a gun at and shooting it.
And that's my point.
This is completely different.
And that's my point.
Like these things have a sore lip afterwards, versus something potentially dying and going into a freezer. You have a choice to.
I guess I just.
What's your end game here, Bucky?
My end game is just to provoke thought and conversation. Is really what I'm trying to do, because
I don't know what the conversation.
It just seems like in this state the knee jerk reaction is to raise the tag, to raise the license. But there's never, ever the look back at the state of, can they cut their costs? Why is it always thrown onto the end game person?
Well, Pennsylvania is unique in the fact that the Fish and Game Commission don't get money from the general funds from the state. All of their money comes from the license sales themselves. So the actual Fish and Game Commission, they get zero money from our sales tax, from any of the general funds brought in by any of the taxes the state themselves.
They get from Pittman Roberts, though.
Yeah. But they don't actually get any direct state money. And that's part of why, the whole pheasant stamp program, the reason that they had to raise that is because the Game Commission themselves cannot physically raise the license rates. So the reason why they had to issue the pheasant stamp was because if they didn't, then the pheasant program, as we know it, would have just gone under. And trout stamps the same exact reason. They can't raise the rates without a state approval from the representatives. So they have to come up with these kind of backdoor ways of getting additional money into their system to be able to keep paying people and providing the services that they provide without actually having a general license increase.
I mean, this is just. I mean, you can't exist on this planet and contribute to the gross national product without expecting inflation. I mean, so that's the inflammatory part, is that we're always going to be paying more, period, for everything. But, do you get jammed up when Pepsi raises their rates, and you can't, or when you're paying $14 for a 6-pack, when you used to pay $7 for a case, it's things are.
I guess my argument is why do we want to pay for things that normally wouldn't, to keep things there that our granddads had, that because of circumstance of climate, whatever the reason is, they're not stocking quail in the state anymore. I mean, why do people want their licenses to go up to stock animals? that aren't here anymore naturally.
I want something to do at lunchtime. I want something to do after work. I want something to do early in the morning before work. So I'm okay spending the
I
extra
want to hang out with my dog.
$9 or whatever it is for the trout stamp. And I mean, I don't normally keep them, but if I have that option to keep whatever it is, 5 a day or something like that. And it's food. I mean, it's the same as.
I'm just blown away about the trout season, and it's like second to the first day of buck. I mean, it's a huge.
It's huge.
Day here, and that's just. I guess I have a hard
time. Had I not been exposed to that, you don't think you'd ever fish? I don't know. That was the first. I remember when I was 16 or 17, Will and I sleeping in the back of my dad's
Suburban
Ford Taurus or something that, or to stake out the good spot.
Gotta stay clean.
Yellow Creek. Yeah, we slept in the back of a station wagon.
It wasn't even a good spot.
It was a spot.
It was a spot.
Because that was literally shoulder to shoulder on a 10-yard wide.
I'll get to the stream before 7 o'clock. I'll stay in my truck, but if I see somebody else starting to walk to the spot,
you're blessed.
Not
in 7 o'clock.
I know.
Not in Bedford County.
We already had breakfast. And
we're eating our hoagies for lunch.
I remember being
6 before the sun even comes up.
I remember being a kid, and people would set up tents on the creek, and
that's why we had to stay
overnight.
They still do now at this spot.
People still camp on the Yellow Breeches all tomorrow night. If you'll drive by the Yellow Breeches, there'll be campsites.
Bucky, I think not growing up here, you don't have that advantage.
And that's what I was just going to say. Thank you guys for giving me your 6-year-old memories of that day, because that's where I'm like, wait a minute, why would it's the tradition. It's
even more than that. I mean, there's an ecosystem that's involved. I mean things. Like one of the big topics that we were talking about with the Donegal Fish and Conservation Group. I had a meeting with them the other night, and they were talking about predation and minks and raccoon and all kinds of stuff.
The great blue heron will wipe out stock trout.
Yeah,
like my great uncle who like introduced me to hunting and fishing. He would. Like some of my cousins would be like, "Oh, I'm going to catch your niece," and he'd just shake his head, and he's like, "They're going to be dead in less than a month, anyways, because of the mink that's in this, the raccoon. It's gonna, something's gonna wipe them out."
Like that 4-point buck in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Like something's
the next ridge over, it's down.
And some will hold over. I mean, that's guaranteed. But like the smaller creeks and tributaries we're fishing, there's not much for them to hide in.
6 point.
In a lot of them, they can't survive much past. Once the water starts warming up,
it could be a 3 and a 1.
Touche on you.
Yeah, he's right.
So you're right. A lot of areas that get stocked, they're not naturally, trout producing streams, but it's just something. It's put and take. It's something to get people outdoors and.
Well, the size trout too that are stocked aren't really, for the most part, in like the size of that stream that they're going to be stocked.
They're huge.
They probably wouldn't naturally grow to that size.
No.
Or if you go to a kids derby, and you watch that that level of action, where like it's just a gated off area in the water, and it's just stocked full of trout, and these kids are just going nuts yanking fish out. It's one of the cooler things you can witness, So
why don't they do it with crappie then? I mean, why don't we do crappie fishes? Why don't we turn kids on to crappie fishing?
They stock. I mean, like,
and doing that with the crappie. I mean, what's? I don't mean to be a dingleberry here, but I mean,
dingleberry is your word.
But yeah, I'm being a curmudgeon, a devil's advocate.
But like,
I mean, why not?
Like a 10 foot, 15 foot, whatever, 10 meter stream is way more accessible. Pennsylvania, and I just heard this, and forgive me if I butcher this, but like Pennsylvania has the most trout waters in the country, spring fed streams, trout
quality water.
quality waters in the country, more than Montana, more than all these the out west river runs through it stuff. PA has it here. That's why it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't run into crappie water as much as we would trout water.
So once again, what I'm hearing is PA again is the diamond in the rough of America when it comes to trout fishing. The West gets the star power. PA seems to be the East Coast, again, the Rock of Gibraltar, east of the Mississippi for the sport.
We're holding it down.
Well, I'm not even sure if crappie are native to Pennsylvania.
But
I know largemouth are.
I just threw crappie out there as another species.
Largemouth is another one that's like super. Like why did largemouth catch on? Other than the fact that they're a great game fish, but they're a hardy game fish. They're not native to most of the U.S. Like peacock bass are completely not native to the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome thing in Florida,
Well, and I hear what you're saying too, Bucky, about, why do we put some of the trout in some of the streams that we put them in when we know they're not going to make it? But to Will's point, majority of the state and a lot of the waters that they do stock them in, they do have the opportunity to live throughout a lot of the year round and hold over. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, would we as Pennsylvanians like to see other areas that the Fish Commission concentrates on? Sure. But at the same time, to Steve's point, you have to look at the Fish Commission. How many dads or families go out and get the license with the trout stamp just for that tradition? Just for that memory, or just to keep that tradition
and
alive.
Also, like it's what $30-ish. I forget how much was the license for 1 year with the trout stamp.
It's like $35.
It's another,
bucks,
$5,
plus
$6 for the trout stamp.
License with the trout stamp is like $40.
We'll say say $40 for a fishing
nominal.
license. That's like if you take a child, if you still have a child that's under 16 that doesn't need its own license. If you take them fishing twice, that's going to the movies twice to pay for your kid. I'm just talking tickets too, So,
because I would love to be able to, instead of getting a trout stamp, pay an extra $6 so they drop 3 freaking Christmas trees that have died in a lake to create structure for crappie. I mean, we have a lot of state-owned lakes that are flat on the bottoms. They're like deserts, and the fishing can be so much better if a little bit.
And some of that happens. I mean, there's
at Marburg they've done the lake level's been down lately, but they did some on purpose. They cut trees that they would land into the water. So like,
fall down.
Yeah. Oh, that
it's almost like hinge cutting.
Speedwell Forge.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is like a bass paradise. There's structure everywhere. They built the lake completely under under the guidelines of
And Marburg did something else this year. It was fish boxes.
Yeah.
So like
they built structure. They put structure. Yeah.
So
I mean, I think,
and then that's what I'm getting at is can't the other species get a little love from the PA Fish Commission too?
It's more than the Fish Commission. We in our backyard, like groups like the Donegal Fish and Conservation. You have people that are very passionate about trout. So when you get all your buddies together and you get the Buckman Crappie Foundation, and you start putting the pressure on and telling it,
setting limits so we can only keep 13 inches and above.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Well, I mean, the Fish and Boat Commission just every year they stock Marburg with something, they stock Pinchot with something. All these state they help with fingerlings. The walleyes this year at Pinchot. I think they did hybrid striped bass this year at Marburg.
Yeah.
So
I just heard that too.
Well, and I never hear of any of those stockings coming to fruition, though, like where they have stocked the fingerlings. The only thing I ever hear pays off are the full-size trout. I've never, they've stocked a little buffalo before with pike, with bass, and it just doesn't turn on.
like somebody at not the fish. I think it was by accident. Somebody put not by accident. They did it
In Marburg.
They did white perch in there, and it was not a organized release of white perch, from what I've been told. This is all
Hearsay.
This is all whispered in the corners of the outdoors. Okay.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So, but there's a huge population of white perch out there now. You know, it's people target and fill up their limits of white perch, and it's actually hurting the crappie population. It's hurting the yellow perch population. So.
Well, and to your point too, Phil, like there are organizations out there like these Anglers Association, like there's Trout Unlimited, and there's other organizations out there where you can get permission from the Fish Commission to stock trout.
There's supplemental. That's what I was getting at.
And
is there supplemental for everything? You know, and to get organized, to get, you know, like, it's just not here. I mean,
So if I wanted to put forth the same amount of effort as these trout people, the Game Commission will get behind me for these other panfish.
how do we know that? I mean, but you got to get in it and get your feet wet, so to speak, and try to, you know, figure out if that's a passion of yours. You know, we'll absolutely support you.
Well, enough for me to ask questions. I mean, you guys
enough for you to poke the bear.
I like to catch crappie. I like to catch other fish. There's more fish besides trout, but yet everybody in this state and their brother, you would think that that's the only species that anybody would fish for here.
And that's similar to, like, it's the equivalent of white-tailed deer. There's a lot of other things to hunt in Pennsylvania than white-tailed deer, but the front runner for hunting is the white-tailed deer.
Speed beef.
Yeah. You know, it's when you say, if you talk to 9 out of 10 people and, well, what do you hunt? It's probably going to be that their main thing is white-tailed deer.
On the first day, on opening day.
They hunt Monday, Tuesday, opening day, and that's it.
But turkey spring gobbler is just as well anticipated in the state. Not maybe as widely, but it's just as anticipated in the state.
No way.
No way.
You don't think so?
I think it's the circle that you're around.
Yeah, you're in it. You're in 2 feet. I think
you're
it's
not
scary.
going with your mom, your sister, and your uncle, and your ex-brother-in-law.
All right.
To hunt with the Orange Army for the first 2 days.
We get excited about opening day of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's carp opening day. We can't sleep at night.
Oh, boy.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a huge... I mean, we're excited about turkey.
I'm getting jacked up for the shad run.
Heck, I went to Maryland for the perch run.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Did you tell anybody?
Yeah, I totally.
Thank you, guys. I mean, you guys helped me get a little bit more of an understanding of the excitement about Trout Day, why it's supported, why I never realized that it has the most natural. Pennsylvania's.
I just learned that. I didn't
that's
know.
an incredible number.
Well, I remember Sean saying like that some of the streams, like some of the streams in PA are like top. Guys travel from around the world to come fish some of our streams.
Anymore, I know for a fact, like the Yellow Breeches is the known stream and stretch of stream for trout fishing.
For here. Penns Creek.
I've heard
Penns Creek is
worldwide.
Huge. There's another
Yellow
one over in
Breeches
Why I'm Missing that's crazy good.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's the one up in State College?
Is that Penns?
No. Oh, shoot.
Well, I mean, Yellow Creek's a big one, but
there's another one up in Lycoming County too. That's
there's
really
another
good.
like I've met a guy. He was like, "Oh, you're from Spring Grove. There's a great trout stream there, and it's a catch and release only area too." You know, and that's those catch and release only, and those, the signage to say that it's catch and release only, but the right of ways are all benefits of our license. You know, those sections of stream would not be set up if we didn't have license like that.
Okay.
I mean, think about how many, bait shops, tackle shops, restaurants, and all that, are full because of that $9, $6, whatever the trout stamp is. It's a big deal. I mean, I would encourage you, if there's something else you want to.
Now, is it just as big of a deal for people to come out of state for our first day? I mean,
what I think
to some.
What I think is interesting is how the splitting of the opening day is, because I have relatives that come here.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of moving of the border is the splitting.
Yeah.
You'll see that, I think, more than
and why do they do that? Like clue me in on that too,
temperature.
guys.
Yeah, it's
I say that with air quotes, the temperature.
Water temperature.
Well, it's eastern part of the United States is lower sea level stuff, closer to sea level, and then western PA you get in the mountains, so it's going to take a while to get.
Yeah. They were saying that like in some years you weren't able to get into stock, or it was just too much of a shock, is actually too cold, or vice versa, it could warm up too much for the eastern part.
I don't understand that. It's not like the fish are living inside.
Whoa, bud.
In a swimming pool.
Is it based upon because the temperature
You have to
with
put little
spawn
plastic bags in the
whatnot,
water
or
for 35 minutes.
just like we shut down the bass season?
It's
They won't more or less. I don't think there is that great of a natural spawn of stock trout. Like I don't think they're gonna really reproduce.
But is that because of the natural stock though? You want to
the whole purpose, from what I got, was strictly based off of water temperature. So a lot of the creeks in the southern part of the state are not spring-fed creeks. They're just basically all these tributaries and smaller creeks that feed into them. So they don't have the cold springs feeding them to keep that water temperature
and that's what
lower.
makes Donegal Creek right here, and I keep bringing it up, but like there's 4 springs that feed into Donegal, which makes it a year-round fishery. And that's kind of rare, not rare, but it's to have that kind of.
Now, are those the creeks that will keep holdover or what do they call them? Natural or native trouts?
Yeah, they got some native browns that stick around pretty good and are pretty hardy.
Well, there's natives and there's wild.
Yeah.
Guys, I just need to say thank you for putting up with my
You don't have to say thank you.
novice trout mind. But you've entertained me with my questions. I've learned a ton.
We're learning together.
This is a whole new. I might as well be going to the moon.
Here, can I get one last thing?
Yeah, please do.
I spend less money on my year, like my full year fishing license in other states than I do in Pennsylvania as a non-resident. So I feel the pain of that our license keeps increasing, but I understand the reason behind it.
Yeah, but sometimes I think that they use that as a guise instead of being fiscally responsible. They're always
that's a whole other podcast.
And I agree. That's why I said that before we got into that.
He already said that.
But it's a whole nother.
That's why
Stevie said that already.
I'm sorry.
But thank you. I appreciate the whole bowing at the altar of the first day of trout, though. Much more now than 20 minutes ago.
Drive around Saturday morning and just take a look at
shoulder to shoulder is not an exaggeration.
And the fact that like a dad will have out his girls, his wife might be along. I mean, my grandmother and mother would take me trout fishing up at our family cabin
because his dad didn't want anything to do with it.
He was working shift work, so
his dad gave him 6 pound.
He said that, but he was over in Penn's Creek.
It's more of a family atmosphere than I would be thinking if I was an out of state person. So,
yeah. Bucky, I for one really appreciate your passion towards growing
crappie fishing.
Other fisheries in the state. So I would encourage you to.
The state has so much
pursue that
to offer
further,
other than trout,
and let us know if we can help.
Let's get it on. Let's get
Crappie
crappie.
cares.
I think we just started the
Exactly.
Buckman Stocking Association.
I love it.
Or if you want to do it in my name, folks, go right ahead.
Go ahead. Permission granted.
Permission granted.
PA Buckman
Just drop me those
Stocking.
GPS coordinates where you stock them crappie. It's much appreciated.
Crappie love those spring-fed streams.
Once again, guys, thanks for putting up with my rust belt during this episode. I appreciate it.
Bless your heart.
He loves those. I can't remember all those names.
Klondike bars.
The
Oh,
now
Wally.
I'm
Yeah.
drawing a blank.
Wally
too.
said all
celiacs, not celiacs. Celiacs.
That's a disease.
Phil loves his celiac.
What are you talking about?
Like how every region has another name for a crappie.
Remember Wally?
Crappie. Speck was one. I thought he called.
Fish.
The Cajuns,
What they call them?
the
White
Cajuns
perch
have a funny
somewhere.
one, though. It's like
Oh yeah, he did say the Cajuns had something. What was
Honky
it?
lighters, I think.
I don't think that's going to make
Speckled
it.
trout, speckles, or something like
that's
that.
gonna be deleted.
Zippity
just for-
doo does.
Zippity doo dads.
Yeah. but-
Hey, well, to close out this trout talk, what's going on up at the Donegal Fish Place here? What's the name of that?
Fish place.
What's going on in Donegal here next weekend?
So next weekend they got the Donegal Fish Derby, which I think a handful of us are going to be a part of. I know Stevie's going to actually be chasing some youngins around.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
that'll
You
be.
gonna enter your kids, bud?
I don't know if you have to enter. We're gonna be there.
Can I enter Lemon? Can we fish?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, but,
Absolutely.
yeah, we're going to try and help them out this way. I joined the
They're good
Conservation
people.
Association there, and I've been learning so much, and they're kind of just like, just any event, and they're just kind of bringing us in, and it's been really great. So, yeah, we got the Kids Derby not this weekend, but next weekend.
The 7th, April 7th. I'd probably start 8 a.m. Kids Derby. I would look at Donegal Fish and Conservation website for more information.
What did I get? I think it's just Donegal Fish or something like that.
Look them up in your Google machine.
Yeah, in that fancy thinking box.
We'll share a link to that on our Facebook so our listeners can find it.
It's the Donegal Fish and Conservation Association on Facebook, and the Fishing Derby, Kids Fishing Derby, and Pancake Breakfast.
Ooh, I love pancakes.
I didn't know pancakes were going to be
It's right at the Donegal Presbyterian Church Complex.
Nice.
Right in Mount Joy.
I gotta stop committing to things.
I know, right? And it starts at 8.
Perfect.
I'll be in Jersey.
So anyway, that'll be great. And it's a cool little spring. It's the headwaters of a spring that goes right into Donegal Creek. So
I love it.
Awesome.
Boom.
All right, this has been interesting. I thought it was just going to be a quick one, kind of giving us a
Uncle Buck took us deep.
Yeah.
Sorry,
little
guys.
Bucky took the lid off.
little heads up. I mean, we have a little microcosm of opening days here coming up in the next couple weeks, and so we are kind of scrambling. Feel like we're all kind of behind the gun, and people are starting some of their shore fishing and lots going on here.
April's going to be busy.
Yeah. So
I love April.
April and May are just
Yeah.
crazy.
Best time of the year.
And in May we head on up to
Soda's Point.
New York.
Oh boy. Holy
with
buckets.
Captain Jimmy Del Rio.
Jimmy
can't wait for
Dill.
that.
Take us home, Phil. Where can they find us?
They can find us on
www.
at www.ruttenriverpursuits.com on YouTube and Rutten River Pursuits podcast
RuttenRiverPursuits.com on YouTube.
on
2, 3.
This is why you don't ask me these questions.
Let me take a swing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, David Kyle.
Yeah, what's going on?
You guys can. Would you stop laughing?
They call you DK, huh?
They call me the Soap Man.
You can find us at www.ruttenriverpursuit.com.
No, it's .ruttenriverpursuits.com. Not www.ruttenriverpursuits.com.
Why are you seeing the www? Just say ruttenriverpursuits.com.
Perfectly. RuttenRiverPursuits.com. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just search Rotten River Pursuit. Also, Rotten River Pursuit podcast on YouTube. Follow us individually on Instagram and Facebook. Anything else, boys?
We're also on iTunes, Stitcher, Castbox, Google Play, Libsyn.
Download a podcast player and subscribe to the podcast. You'll get it on your phone automatically. You don't have to wait to see the Facebook link. It just shows up. Castbox, iTunes, one of them. Pick one and subscribe to our podcast that way.
Give us a review on those podcasts.
Please.
We're begging you. Give us a 5-star rating.
Tell us what you like, don't like.
Any star, yeah.
Yeah.
No, 5-star.
We'll take any feedback you're willing to give us.
All right, guys.
As long as it's nice feedback.
Good luck this weekend.
Stevie can't take the mean stuff.
It doesn't matter what
Breaks his
kind of
heart.
review. Just say hi.
Yeah. Let us know you're out there.
Tell us what you like to fish for.
There we go.
Alrighty.
All right.
Rig 'em weedless.
Peace. Carl Coder.
Let's have a top. Yeah, pick a topic.
From the Topic Hat. Where's the Topic Hat?
That's a permit, bud.
You know,
What you want?
What have you bought and what do you
Is
still
bought
need?
a word? I've always wondered that.
What have you
Stevie, stop asking the questions. This is a podcast started.
Go, bud.
Listen, Phil is a professional botanist.
I have. I grew potatoes on Mars.
I've said boughten before, so I'm not. But I it just doesn't.
It doesn't sound right.
I don't
agree
know.
with you. I purchased it.
You can say boughten, bud. It's
back
cool.
in
I bought it. Is
back in
probably-
Missouri,
and
they
I
used to
bought
call
it.
Phil Peter Bottontail.
What's the
bot wonder.
past tense of boughten? Boughten did.
Yeah.
Done
Boughten.
boughten. He
Done boughten.
Done boughten.
Bottoned it up.
I think he bought that yesterday.
I boughtened that up yesterday.
That doesn't sound right, D.
I bought that yesterday. Like that's right there. It's a whole subject of
Up and bot.
That'd be a good Span the Void
That would be.
episode. Jim. No.
What do you mean? Come on, guys.
Guys, I gotta fill my vape. You can't see me now.
We get it, Jim. You vape.
Guys, I'm just wondering, why do you guys like those sucky trout so much?